What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And it has been an absolutely crazy last 24 hours. My gosh, has a lot happened. First of all, there's a lot of bad information regarding the second stimulus check, what's going on with that. I'm going to clear that up for you guys. And also, I'm going to give you some good news on new developments happening since the vote has passed in the House. And obviously, if you haven't heard yet or watched my previous videos or seen any of the national news, President Donald Trump officially has come down with the virus. And even crazier news is that if the president cannot continue his job or falls very ill, then Vice President Mike Pence will take over. And if the same thing happens to him, then the president will be Nancy Pelosi.
What?
Yeah, I had to say that again just so my wife could put that Minions character in there again because I know you guys liked it so much from the past video. But first, don't forget to give this video a like or a thumbs up down below. It really helps out our channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day so we can bring you all the information in a quick, concise video. Okay, first up, let's clear up some of the bad information or just flat out wrong information going on right now. Also, if you notice on my videos, I show my sources, for example, the US House of Representatives website or whatever website has the information. A lot of times I show my sources on purpose so you guys can see that it's legitimate and it's not just a story being made up somewhere. And also a lot of times you can read along. I know I get a lot of comments from a lot of viewers saying that it's very helpful to be able to read along with a lot of this information or just pause the screen on it so they can read the entire page if they deem they want to. Of course, I always bring you the important information and the summary, but I can't always read to you just entire articles. I'm not here to just read articles to you. I'm here to bring you the important information, the summaries of it, and cite my sources and show them to you when it's important. So first of all, the new stimulus package introduced by the Democrats, the HEROES Act 2.0 or the HEROES Act Revised, was passed in the U.S. House of Representatives. Here is the official U.S. House of Representatives website. You can see up here it says house.gov. Okay, this is the appropriations part of their website, okay? You can see here also on the website, it says House passes updated HEROES Act. Now, the Senate still needs to pass this for this to go into law, but there's a lot of misinformation going out there. I've had some comments from you guys. I've had some comments saying that there was only 8 votes that took place. Only 8 people voted on that. And that's just wrong. I mean, as you can see right here on their website, the House passed today, this is from last night, they did this October 1st, on a 214 to 207 vote of the updated HEROES Act. And you can scroll down this website here and they have a summary right here. They have a one-page summary and a larger summary. On this one-page summary here that was passed, it basically goes over what was passed. Again, this was passed in the House of Representatives and has not been passed in the Senate. I'm going to talk to you guys in just a second about the new upcoming information and what needs to happen with this. The main things about all this, you can pause the screen here and read through all these things, but there's $436 billion for states and cities. This is a big contention point between the Democrats and the Republicans to get this passed officially. The Democrats originally had $950 billion, and the Republicans only wanted about $200 billion, $150, $200 billion. They're now saying they're willing to go up to $250 billion, but this is kind of one of the things that's still holding up this bill. Also in this bill is direct stimulus payments of $1,200 per person and $500 per dependent this time around. This time around, at least in this wording of this bill, all dependents would receive a check for $500. A couple more of the highlights is an unemployment extension boost benefit of $600 per week all the way through January of 2021. $600 per week until 2021. The Republicans have announced their own new bill, and in their bill is $400 per week. The bill for the Republicans is retroactive back to September 11th, which would also include some retroactive payments. There's also another round of PPP money for small business owners. There's a 15% increase to SNAP and WIC programs, and there's also rental assistance money and mortgage assistance money for people struggling to pay their rent. So again, this is the part we need to all be clear on because there's a lot of wrong information here. The House passed late last night this bill, this HEROES Act 2.0, or HEROES Act Revised, has officially been passed in the House, a vote of 214 to 207 people. So it passed. This bill from the Democrats is $2.2 trillion. Not a single Republican voted for this bill. So the Democrats passed it in the House without a single Republican, okay? That will not fly in the Senate. It will be dead on arrival unless a few things happen because they need at least 13 to 15 Republicans to vote on it in the Senate to pass the bill. So they need some Republicans to go over that. I went over that in my morning video, one of my past videos, on the couple things that could happen to get this bill passed. Very quickly, the things that could happen is they revise the bill. I'm going to get to that in a second because there's a new breaking information about that from Nancy Pelosi. If they revise the bill and the Republicans can agree on it more, they can get that 13 votes in the Senate to pass it. The other thing that could happen is the Republicans have announced their own bill at $1.6 trillion, which also has stimulus checks in there and a $400 unemployment extension, or they can meet somewhere in the middle. There's also talks of the Problem Solvers bill, which has not one but two stimulus checks and not one but two unemployment extension updates. If the pandemic continues into 2021, that bill could be voted on also, or the president could take it upon himself to pass the stimulus checks through a presidential executive order. So again, this bill has passed the House, but has not been voted on or anything in the Senate. It literally just happened last night. They need Republican support or it won't pass, or they have to revise the bill to get the Republican support. And that leads us to what Nancy Pelosi is saying. This is very good news because before, when they passed their original HEROES Act and the Republicans didn't like it, Nancy Pelosi just kind of sat there for 2 months and didn't want to negotiate further, saying that that was the bill that should be passed. She's not saying it this time. This time she's saying that they're willing to negotiate further and they really want to pass a bill. Nancy Pelosi anticipates, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, the leader of the Democrats at this point besides Joe Biden. Nancy Pelosi anticipates reaching an economic relief deal with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who is the main Republican negotiator at this point. She says that the new Donald Trump diagnosis of him now being positive with the virus changes the dynamic. The administration officials are now pushing hard for a deal, and Nancy Pelosi is urging airlines to stop laying off people and stop their furloughs. Also, I'm going to tell you in a second about a brand new bill about the airlines getting stimulus, and it's good news for us, not the airlines. This is from the Washington Post. You can read along here if you wish. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Friday she anticipates striking a bipartisan economic relief deal. Bipartisan means support from both the Republicans and the Democrats. That's what we actually need to pass a bill. So she anticipates striking a bipartisan economic relief deal, aka stimulus package, with the Trump administration, suggesting that President Trump's his new positive virus diagnosis could speed up an agreement deal. She called on airlines to hold off on imminent furloughs pending a deal. Nancy Pelosi says this kind of changes the dynamic because here they see the reality of what we have been saying all along. This is a vicious virus. Nancy Pelosi says, I'm optimistic. We have to find a path that is our responsibility to do so, and I believe that we will. Democrats had sought a $2.2 trillion package in their HEROES Act 2.0, while the White House's most recent offer was $1.6 trillion. Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin spoke on Friday afternoon for 65 minutes. and plan to continue their discussions. The pace of the talks and the possibility of a deal have picked up remarkably since Thursday. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told reporters on Friday that Trump had inquired about the status of the negotiations Friday morning, shortly after the president announced his positive virus testing. With the talks picking up steam, Nancy Pelosi released a statement on Friday calling on airlines to delay imminent furloughs of workers whose jobs are at risk after payroll support included in the CARES Act expired on Wednesday, October 1st. Nancy Pelosi said a 6-month extension of the payroll support program would be included in any deal or passed as a standalone bill. American Airlines and United just laid off 32,000 employees because they did not receive more stimulus by October 1st. And speaking of that standalone bill for the airlines, the standalone bill for the airlines to provide relief for them was blocked on the House floor today. House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee Chairman Peter DeFazio, from a Democrat from Oregon, attempted to pass a standalone bill that would give relief to airlines on the House floor on Friday. The attempt was unsuccessful after the Oregon congressman was denied a request for unanimous consent, which would preclude the need for members to participate in a recorded vote. His bill would extend the airline payroll support program by 6 months. Now, this bill being blocked doesn't help any airline workers or the airlines themselves. So my condolences to them, at least temporarily, but for everybody else, this is a good thing. And the reason for that is because this is one of the reasons that the stimulus package is trying to be, done quickly, okay? I know we all need checks and unemployment extension, but apparently Congress doesn't quite get that. You got to remember that most of these congressmen, congresswomen are worth millions and millions of dollars. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, at last check, she was worth like $120 million, and Mitch McConnell was worth like $25 million. A lot of these people, they're not living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of average everyday Americans are. So when the airlines say they need help and they need it now, or they're going to lay off tens of thousands of workers, I mean, it's bad for those workers, but it's good for everybody else because this is the stuff that they're including in the stimulus package, along with the stimulus checks and the unemployment extension and the money for small business owners. So, like, all those things are in this package. So, with the unemployment running out and with airlines needing money really badly, those are things that are making Congress like very urgent that they need to pass this now. And they've already missed their October 1st deadline. So now they're starting to see the consequences of that. So we don't really want them to pass a standalone bill, of course, unless you're an airline employee, because that being in the larger bill with everybody else, the money for the checks and the unemployment extension and everything else that helps everybody else, it's good that they didn't pass that by itself, because it being in the big stimulus package makes it more likely to pass that because of the urgency with the airlines, the urgency with the unemployment. That those deadlines have just ran out and just, became new urgent matters, at least in the eyes of Congress. With this new flurry that we've seen over the last 48 hours of new support for the stimulus package, we're starting to see a lot of optimism from both Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Nancy Pelosi, and Congress from both sides. All we really need is a little bit of support from Republicans. Also, notice this stupid dot on my head from the sunlight coming in at this time of day through my blinds. It's really annoying. You probably think it's funny. What could happen, and what we're starting to see from the negotiations between Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi, is the Democrats might bring down their bill from $2.2 trillion, and if they bring it down, they will start to receive some Republican support. Remember, they only need 13 Republicans in the Senate to get the support to pass that bill in the Senate. Now, they'd have to revise it and vote on it again, but they can do that literally like the same day or within 24 hours. The House of Representatives is set to go back to their home states today, but if they have a new urgent stimulus package to vote on, they have 24 hours to come back to Washington at any given point. Now, remember, all the Democrats and all the Republicans in the House are up for re-election, so they're going back to their states to basically campaign for the re-elections, but they will have to come back if they have to vote on a new revised bill. There's also a lot of people wondering, with President Donald Trump now having tested positive for the virus, will this speed up the talks or the negotiations for the stimulus checks? Will he just pass them through a presidential executive order, get them out of the way? Or what will happen with him having the virus and all the consequences of that going forward? President Trump was whisked away today to Walter Reed Medical Center as a precautionary measure, with him now having the virus and going into care at the hospital. So we will have to see what happens with him, and if he decides to step in before things get bad to pass a stimulus, or to give the go-ahead to the Republicans to just agree to a deal. There's also a lot of conspiracy theory talk from people who aren't in support of Trump that think that he may be faking getting the virus and actually testing positive. The other question remains is, will him being positive for the virus, will that help him in the election, or will that hurt him in the election? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because it depends on where your thinking goes, but you can pretty much go anywhere with this kind of thinking, because, President Trump was against the virus at the very beginning, calling it a hoax and that you didn't need to wear masks and it was a China problem. But now he actually has it, and a lot of people might be sympathetic towards him having the virus. But a lot of people are also saying, from a lot of the initial reactions I've seen, that basically the told you so kind of, reaction out of them, that this virus was pretty serious. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of him getting the virus or being tested positive? Do you think it'll help him in the election or hurt him in the election? Also, sorry my times of releasing the videos were a little bit off this morning. Normally we go live at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But because we had so much breaking news this morning and last night, I published the video on the House approving the bill a little early, and then I had to rush and get the Trump virus positive video out after that. So my videos were early, but it's okay. If you tune into the 3 p.m. video and it's early, you'll be able to catch it then. If you want to know as soon as we go live, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button down below, and on the bell, click the all notifications so you get all notifications when we go live, because occasionally we do go live at other times. Just like yesterday, I had that Joe Biden video about whether or not he was wearing a wire. That went live at 7 a.m. as just kind of a bonus video for the day, because it was such big news and so many people were talking about it. So click the bell icon and then all if you want to be notified when we go live of videos. If not, they'll be there when you jump on YouTube. And don't forget to give this video a like. It really helps out our channel. And you can click on these videos to watch my newest stimulus check videos next. And this is that video about the wire that Joe Biden potentially wore during the debate. And you can click on this video to watch a video about how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.